Welcome to Serves You Right. This is Andrew, and I'm glad you can make it. If you are a server, a bartender, backhouse warrior, this is the spot for you. Follow me as we try and work out one fundamental question: whether or not you can truly be happy working in the service industry. With everything involved in working in service, the alcohol, late nights, low wages, restaurants and bars offer a very strange blend of challenge and opportunity to a large, underserviced portion of the population. Are they flawed and ugly in some ways? Absolutely. The service industry does also serve a deep and fundamental human need, though. That drive for fast, flexible work environments, the thrill of quick money, and the appeal of the slightly dangerous. Again, my name is Andrew, and I've worked in restaurants and bars for about 20 years now. I've done everything from dishwashing and barbacking all the way to being a general manager. This is my record of what I've learned, imperfectly, slowly, painfully, and hopefully you find that interesting and you have an easier time at it than I did. All right, let's do it.
All right, this week I was extremely lucky. So this is an episode that's near and dear to my heart. Chris Milligan, a force to be reckoned with. He has more depth and encyclopedic knowledge of bar lore and history and cocktails than any human I've ever met. So here we get a glimpse also into how everything started for me. My time at Secreto bar, my beginning as a barback, and my introduction into the bar world. We do not hold back from talking about our booze consumption and even some past disagreements that we get to talk about on air. So super, super fun episode. Expect to learn just how working in a busy bar doesn't mean you'll be automatically happy. Expect to learn what ego does when you are the star of a popular bar. Expect to find out that life isn't always so sweet on the other side of the bottle, and see what happens when alcohol, success, and ego meet, and why some of the most respected people in the business aren't always that happy. Note Chris in the interview mentions Reiki and, let's see if I can do this, Ho'oponopono. I think I got that. I do have links supplied by Chris in the show notes that detail what those both are. And yeah, I hope this serves you. Me and Chris just kind of start off and go straight into it, so you'll hear us discussing whether or not he can curse on the episode, and then we just start talking. As always, my name's Andrew. Thanks for listening. Let's rock on.
I will most likely drop a F-bomb here and there.
Sure. Because why the fuck not?
Exactly.
So actually, one thing I did want to ask you about, we and you haven't talked at length since I left, and I don't think I ever understood how you ended up in Taos.
Well, it was all a personal move. I met a woman, beautiful woman. We're still together. It's coming up on 9 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And her daughter's father lived in Taos. She was living in Pilar. I was in Santa Fe, and she moved down to Santa Fe for a work opportunity. And, long story short, we decided to move up here so she could be more a part of a co-parent situation with her ex-husband.
Got it. Yeah.
So my son, was into his teens at that point and becoming independent. So I did not feel bad about leaving him, a mere 64 miles away. But and we got together and still get together fairly regularly.
Yeah, how's the bear?
He's doing good. He's graduated. He is working
Whoa.
plumber.
Sorry.
And he's gonna become a journeyman in the plumbing community.
Wow, that's incredible. I still remember him as a little kid, so
Right.
that's why I said wow there. I'm like, ooh, it's that moment when you see the ID that says 2002 and you serve them. keeps hitting me over and over again.
Well, Andrew, I got to tell you, he's about 2 inches taller than you.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I think when I last saw him, he didn't come up to my waist.
Yeah, yeah, he was, and he had a mohawk at the time.
Oh man. 9 years. 9 years is crazy.
Yeah.
My eighth anniversary is coming up this in 2 weeks, actually.
Oh, happy
Oh,
anniversary.
yeah. Yeah. Well, look, me and you got socialized around the same time, I guess.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It was right after I left Hotel St. Francis, Secreto Lounge. Just needed a break from the world, which sometimes happens. When you're really knee deep into in the bar world, sometimes a break is needed. And I took a break for a couple of years and slowly worked my way back into the food and beverage world. But it was right about that time that you and Anna, excuse me, were getting together and moving to Tulsa. You got married very quickly, if I remember.
We did, yes. I've never been one for forethought or restraint. I think you'll probably remember that. Um, she
For
did
as long
ask,
as I have known you, once you set your mind to something,
it just
you
happens. For
and
better or for
I
worse.
I got to bring this up. When you went into the last round of Last Slinger Standing, I
Mm.
saw that in your face. Natalie Bovis was going to coach you a little bit, and I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, "He's in the zone." And sure
Uh,
enough, he walked out of there. So I know that when you set your mind on something, you're there.
that was a crazy night.
Yep.
Oh man. I still remember we were drinking Fortaleza after that, doing shots
Mm.
till God knows when.
Well,
Uh,
as soon as all the rest of us were eliminated, we started doing shots then. So
fair. I was a late joiner. Yeah. Um, Anne actually asked me to remind you. Do you remember right before we moved, we did all these garage sales, and you ended up with the drying rack. I don't know if
yes,
you remember that,
I
but
do.
yeah. So
I
wild thing.
used that rack for years. I mean, it literally fell apart.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's all of Anne's stuff is very high quality, and that means it lasts forever. It means eventually it just all collapses into dust.
literally, it just said, "I'm out." Boom.
Yeah. Well, so actually, I want to backtrack a little.
Mhm.
You mentioned Secreto, and I thought it'd be cool. Like, can you tell the people listening how me and you met? Because I think that's pretty cool. It kind of sums up a lot of what came afterwards too.
Sure. So we opened Secreto Lounge at Hotel St. Francis as kind of this premier craft cocktail bar that became known for this Garden to Glass cocktail program. And we were I was the third manager, and we were open for almost a year, and I was the third manager coming into the first anniversary of the place. And one night I was not only managing, but I was still actively tending bar. And you had taken a job in the adjoining restaurant, working for Stefan Garcia. Uh,
Yes. Tabla
and
de los Santos.
Tabla de los Santos.
Yes.
And anyway, we were weeded. I mean, we were just beyond. It was one of the first nights that the bar really began to rock, and began to catch on with the locals as well as the tourists. We had a really incredible marketing and PR department that was doing heavy pushes on, the very unique cocktails that we were making. And one night we were just getting slammed. And I walked down the hallway and you were standing there, and I said, "Hey, you want to put in a couple extra hours, make a few extra bucks, and barback for me for a couple hours?" And you're like, "Sure, no problem." And you jumped in, and I, hands down, within 2 weeks, you were the best barback I had ever seen. Just so gung ho, so interested, so focused in everything, so hospitable. And that was the number one thing that I remember and will always remember about you is your hospitality. And, you just jumped in and you got to a point within just moments moments meaning a couple of weeks, that you were reading over the shoulders and handing them not only their glassware, but the bottles they needed off the back bar. So they never had to move. All the while you are bussing all of the and washing and polishing all the glassware, refilling all of the syrups, restocking all of the booze. I mean, you were doing the job of four people.
Yeah.
And very quickly moved into a bar position, working the well and serving the 142 seats that we had around the hotel.
Yeah. No, that
And
bar was wild. Yeah. So so just to kind of paint the picture for someone listening too, it's an entirely fresh fruit, fresh juice bar, nothing pre-made, essentially. So you
that's
get an
right.
order for 20 cocktails that have cucumber and jalapeno. That's when you're going to cut them up and start muddling them. Uh,
Everything muddled, everything was fresh. There were no flavored vodkas. If you wanted a citrus vodka, we muddled the lemon peels into the vodka to create that flavor. Better than anything that's ever been put in a bottle. I mean, we worked and worked hard. The wait time for a drink was an easy 20 minutes on a busy night, but everybody understood that they were going to have one of the greatest drinks they ever had.
yeah. No, when that patio was full, when the restaurant was full, that was some wild Friday and Saturday nights, that's for sure.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I must have been a barback. You said quickly, but I feel like I was barbacking for at least a year. I think I wasn't 21 at the time that I started, if I'm recreating that correctly.
We fortunately were able in New Mexico to we were able to use you. And right about the time you turned 21 was, I mean, the day you turned 21, you became a bartender. And that was right about the time the law changed here.
That's right, because there was like a memo like right after my birthday. Yeah. So someone was looking out for me, one of the hospitality gods. So oh yeah. No. I don't, yeah. I've often asked myself, how would things have been different had I not said yes and helped that night,
Right.
because I think it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was the holiday season. And I think I'd stayed behind and most of my friends had gone back home.
That
Like,
sounds. I would have. I would not remember that because I really didn't know you that well personally. I mean, we passed each other in the hall, but you were working the restaurant and I was in the bar. You
yeah.
know,
No,
uh,
I think I just like had nothing to do. So I was like, sure,
right?
I'll take some money.
Oh, yeah, that sounds very familiar. Now
Yeah.
that you,
Now, so you were there, gosh, you must have been there for almost a solid 10 years.
2009 to 2017, so 8 years.
Yeah. 8 years. That's incredible. That's yeah.
It was a
What Oh, sorry, you go first. Sorry.
no. I was just gonna say it's a wild ride. That's all I was.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, most people in especially service and hospitality jobs don't have that kind of tenure. What do you think is unique about you that lets you stay there, or why did you stay there for so long?
Um, well, there's the good answer and there's the bad answer on that question. The good answer
Sure.
because it was unique, it was fun. I enjoyed the popularity of the bar. On the negative ego side, I enjoyed the popularity it brought me.
Sure.
Uh, it was a weird time when that whole marketing and PR thing was happening because Facebook and all social media was just beginning to blow. And I mean, food blogging or cocktail blogging was less than 5 years old at that point.
Hmm.
It was a very, very, very new thing. So a bar and a bartender getting recognition, and I started looking for that recognition before I started working for Secreto. I had a blog called the Santa Fe Barman, and that blog and that bar and me all kind of became the same entity. And I rode that wave for a really, really long time, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Um, you know, um, there were some downsides to it, but it was a good run. I had a lot of autonomy. That was the other thing, because of the popularity and the profitability of that bar. I was given a lot of autonomy with the company that ran the bar, and so we really didn't. It didn't feel like a hotel bar, and it never felt like that to any of the employees. I never thought it was never expressed to me, until something corporate came barreling down, but it would last a day, and then we were right back to wherever we were, what we were doing. And so it never felt like, like I said, a hotel bar. It was a craft cocktail bar with a lively atmosphere, no TVs, no entertainment. I mean, the entertainment was the people and the experience that you had while you were there.
Yeah. Now, yeah, as you're talking, I'm having these visual flashbacks to that bar, and yeah, I'd forgotten, just had been long enough that there were no TVs, but that was something that was really unique.
Yeah.
Not every space in public needs to have a TV. Not everyone.
Mm-mm.
Most is fine, but not, yeah. And that, I never did think about that, but now that I am kind of in a more corporate environment and plugged into a bureaucracy, I don't always have to deal with it day to day, but there was a lot of freedom in that bar.
Yeah.
As long as the drinks kept flowing and people kept coming, and they did. And they did.
And they did.
Yeah.
And continue to. And it's, even, you've been gone from there since 2016. I left in 2017. I think it was right, 2016.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
And we it's still it still has a beautiful reputation, and I love that you and me and the rest of the crew that was there. There's so many names, Todd and John, obviously, Katie, Bianca, Jackie, you know, just everybody just all contributed to something. And it still thrives.
Yeah. That is cool. You mentioned downsides. Are there any downsides you could talk about, or anything that's actually past the statute of limitations, that sort of thing? Or
The downside is that I got caught up. It doesn't happen to everybody, but I got caught up in that life. This hot shit bartender, who knows a lot about cocktails and a lot about cocktail history. Well, that I lived the party life amidst that, and there's a good 15 years of my life that I really don't remember because I was drunk the entire time.
mm, well,
Uh,
you have an ego. I mean, I have
and
one too. Yeah.
uh, I mean, it's funny. I never really considered myself, a celebrity in any way, but it's real amazing when when you go too far in a vocation and too far with a passion, that it can become detrimental to your health and detrimental to your family. And I lost a wife in that time.
Mm,
I blessedly found, a new relationship a few years later. Uh, Tried a few times in between. Um, but getting caught up in the booze and just finding the bottom of the bottle way too many times. Blessedly, I don't drink spirits anymore. I stopped doing that on any kind of regular basis, other than just tastings at because they're required in the job that I do now. The very occasional shift drink and maybe a glass of wine with dinner. But I've quit. I've quit drinking as a sport.
That's good. It's a sport where you don't see a lot of old people, you know?
No, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah. I don't know. We didn't really talk about this beforehand, but I don't think I've told you I'm pretty much quit drinking too.
I'm
So
proud
right
of you.
now, no, thanks. I mean, I'm proud of you too. I
Thank
didn't
you.
realize how much you're drinking. We do the shots after work at the Matador, and it's just like you only have an hour left, so there's only so many shots you can take. So yeah, you don't know what's going on in the rest of the 24 hours of the day, you know?
Sure. No, it was up to
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning, and boozing on a bottle and entertaining, and after parties and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, hitting the Matador. You gotta mention something about the Matador and the name tags. Uh,
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, yeah. You go. That's perfect.
so anyway, but yeah, I mean, you get there an hour before legal last call, and you got time for a shot of beer and maybe another shot, or if you got there early, maybe another beer, but you never went past those two or three, before you went home, you know. Um, but yeah, after that, it was fair game once you were locked in your own house.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it also says a lot about New Mexico that we have to say legal last call. We have to specify the legal limit versus the sometimes lock the doors and what happens after close in some places.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, but yeah, the Matador. So I, you were one of the first ones. You were the first one
Yeah.
uh, to hang your name tag at the Matador. We had these name tags because we worked for a hotel corporation. We had to wear name tags, and we're supposed to return them, beforehand, and nobody ever did. Uh, and anyway, you dressed up as one of the other bartenders at for Halloween, and
John
what
Congan. Yep, I
John
did.
and that name tag got just stuck to one of the coolers at the Matador. Well, it just hung there, and it was just there, and everybody that worked at Secreto just kind of saw it and they thought it was funny. Uh, and then when you somewhere amidst that time, uh, that was the first one to go up, but there were others before you actually left that began to every time somebody left, we went to the Matador, had a shot of tequila, specifically tequila. When you got promoted to bartender, you had tequila. When you left Secreto, you had tequila. That
Hmm.
was, I don't know how that happened, but that's the way it is. I blame Todd for it. Todd Walker. But
Well, Espelon's only $7 at the Matador, and
well, there you go.
I would venture a guess that it probably still is.
Probably so. At a tiny Coca-Cola glasses, tiny Coca-Cola glasses.
Mhm.
But anyway, as the name tags began to appear, we started gluing them to the cooler, and there's a line of about 9 people, in those years, that have their name tags up there. And as far as I know, mine is the last one to be hung.
Hmm. I feel like I was there that night, but I don't remember, which is part of the problem of all the drinking at the Matador.
That
Yeah. Oh man. Good times though.
was
Yeah.
the ultimate place to go to after doing craft cocktails for hours on end. That was
Hmm.
that was the place between there and Evangelos.
Well,
I'll never forget taking you to Evangelo's.
yeah, that was a weird bar. I liked it, but
Yeah,
yeah, that was definitely, I don't know. It was geared towards a different demographic, I believe.
definitely
Let's
so.
say it that way. Yes.
It was the older dive bar, in town. But Nick, it was the first time I'd ever heard Nick Clonus talk the way that he talked that night, and for that extent. But he gave you and I both a lesson about how to be a bartender.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I think
Wasn't
it
about drinks,
says, oh,
all
sorry.
about reading the room.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Oh, barely. No, I
Long
think
ago.
I think it really is a, beautiful thing that, we have Secreto that's so focused on the craft aspect of it. And then we go to the Matador, we go to Evangelos, and we see also another busy, very popular side of nightlife, just completely different, but still service centric in its own unique way.
It was very
Yeah.
much. And what I enjoyed most about the relationship with the staff and the owners at the Matador that we had with them, and all of the staff at Secreto, is that we learned from each other. They got interested in mixology and making a good drink, even though that's not what they were known for doing. But there were bartenders there that were interested, and when somebody walked in and asked for a Negroni or an old fashioned, they would get the a proper drink.
Mm.
Likewise, we always tried to keep that fun that you found at the Matador at Secreto. We never got so hoity. I mean, we weren't doing, Red Bull and Jägermeister and stuff like that. But we kept that fun in the bar, where it was about people and interacting with people.
Well, we weren't doing Jägermeister and Red Bull when you were there. I do remember there was the odd bottle, I think it was Ruppelmints in the fridge for the longest time, and Todd would always make fun of it. We definitely drank a lot of Red Bull. I don't think we served any of it. One thing I did want to talk about too, if you're game, the first time I left Secreto.
Mm-hmm.
So, so this is something that me and you haven't talked about really at length since it happened,
Mm-hmm.
but I've thought about it since. So, kind of disclaimer for everyone listening. So, I was young and I was being a little shit, is the way I've kind of realized. So, I think if I remember correctly, I was upset about the cocktail waitress or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and you got into some sort of argument, and then I ended up leaving right after that.
Yeah.
I remember, in the moment, it didn't strike me as anything weird. And actually, it did lead to some good things. It led to the Milagro, it led to the Coyote, a lot of things that came after. But I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about this about a year or two ago, and I was like, man, I was such a little shit back then. So I'm sorry, just so you know.
No,
Yeah.
no need to apologize. I'm the one who should apologize. Yeah, it was about a cocktail waitress that was corporately thrown on me, that I just had to suck up and smile and take it and try to convince everybody that this was the right thing. Nobody bought it, and I didn't know how to sell it.
Yeah.
There was
Well,
a thing going on one night, and yeah, and I will have to say that alcohol was involved in our conversation.
yeah.
And
Well, at that time of my life, it was often involved in a lot of conversations. Yeah. So,
of us, for both of us. But yeah, um, I thought you were a little shit in that conversation. It was the first time I'd ever thought that in my life. about you, and the only time I've ever thought that about you, and I've never thought it again. But I responded in a very angry, aggressive, fatherly way that I should not have done, and shut you down by simply saying, "This is not the time or the place." And I said it really, really loud and practically silenced the room and walked out because I was so embarrassed by what I had just done. And I, I, um, I must say, I am sorry, Andrew.
Well, no, it's fine. It it is one of those things that, probably I think it was like 2 years ago that I came back in my memory and I was like, what was like, as you're getting kind of clean and drinking less, and I've noticed more and more that I can think back on events in my past that's had all this emotional turmoil or hold on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And with a little distance and just a little more clarity, think, oh, I was a little shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It is weird. Alcohol is such a strange thing, isn't it?
it is. It is. And
Yeah,
there was more than alcohol going around that night too.
I'm sure.
I think Green Dragon was a part of that night.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
But
man.
say,
Milagro.
I loved how we were able to resolve that situation. I am sorry that I embarrassed you that night, and I love it that we were able to mend and remain friends for 10 plus years uh, after.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause I mean, that's the thing that you fear about those drunken nights, the people that you lost touch with because of them and you never talked to them again, you
Sure,
know? For every
sure,
Chris Milligan I've got, who knows how many people.
right. I, I've had very similar experiences recently with a lot of situations, and have done all that I know to do to make those very amends.
Hmm.
So
Well, cool. Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about? I was, what was that?
I said, it sounds like we're talking 12 step, even though neither one of us are 12 steppers.
No, no. I definitely think, over the course of a life, you get a certain number of drinks that you can reasonably take, and we just front loaded them.
Yeah.
Uh, so we're just cleaning things up a little bit. Well,
Well,
I don't think I ever really talked to you. Did I tell you, that they diagnosed me with Graves?
no.
Yeah, the whole eye thing that gets all like red and puffy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first time I actually stopped drinking for a long period of time. I had about a year and a half where I was having difficulty seeing. So
Wow.
yeah, if you ever see me, my left eye is still scarred. You can kind of tell that it's a little, fucked up. But
Jeez.
it was long enough that it actually cleaned me up enough that it was actually like I look back and I am so grateful that that happened. Like
Yeah.
I wish that would have happened, and if I had the same reaction when I was like 20, it would have been just life changing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, something happens, you lose someone, or you have a health scare, and all of a sudden you start thinking, okay, what am I doing here?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you, for me, that initial, and it took years for me to really convince myself that and get my ego out of the equation, that no, I don't need this, I don't want this, and I sure as hell can't do it anymore. It took years, but the real first one was when my best friend committed suicide over his alcoholism.
Mm.
uh, that was my first wake up. um, and it took a lot of years and a lot of convincing, and a lot of my current partner help and understanding and guidance, and sometimes very tough love about it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sorry. That's rough.
but it is, it's gotten me to where I am now, and I feel good about that. That I'm able to, openly talk about that. That I can, you know, and that you know, things look better on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever been to any like therapy or anything? I recently started. It's helped a lot,
Oh,
actually.
I've done therapy off and on throughout my life since I was a teenager.
Hmm.
For various reasons, I come from an alcoholic family. I never, you know, watching my family, I think, literally the entire family, I thought everybody drank that way and anybody else was lightweight, and I grew up with that attitude from, a very, very early age. So I can't, that was probably my biggest challenge, with everything, in that. But I'm sorry, I got slightly distracted. What was the question?
Oh, no, it was literally, have you ever done any therapy? I was
Yeah.
curious. Yeah.
So with
The,
that, and in my time over the years, I have explored a lot of metaphysical and spiritual guidance. I've found it to be a little bit more helpful to me, though I do. Uh, yes, I'm active in therapy, but this is something that I find equally helpful. I've been studying Reiki. I've been studying Ho'oponopono, uh, and
I don't know either of those. What are those?
Reiki is a Reiki. It's a Japanese word, means life energy, and
Hmm.
a way of attuning to nature and to the natural world, and to find balance. With not only the physical but the emotional, spiritual, the astral, and beyond, uh, and finding balance with that. There are, people who are considered masters, who do treatments on others. In passing this, they're like a conduit. They're not healers, but they're a conduit to help, another person receive that kind of energy. Laying on of hands is what Christians would call it. This kind of thing. But it's a focus on that kind of life energy. Ho'oponopono, at least modern Ho'oponopono, is a type of forgiveness, and it's a mantra of four statements, and it's given to the world, but ultimately given to yourself because you are a reflection of the world. And the four statements are: I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you.
Hmm.
And one of those things that teach that when in crisis or in conflict, you never say anything that does not reflect one, if not all four of those statements. So, say if I'm having an argument with someone, I do not want to say anything that's not saying, I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you.
And how do you say that? Ho'oponopono or
Oh, pono
ho
pono. It's Hawaiian,
ho'oponopono?
means to make right, or specifically to make right. Ho apostrophe o, to make. Pono, Pono, twice, Pono, to make right,
Okay.
to make
I'm s-
whole.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
um, there's a guy who became very, very famous. He's a psychiatrist who practiced Ho'oponopono. He became very famous for this. Hugh Lin was his last name. Dr. Hugh Lin, who cured 24 mentally ill felony inmates in Hawaiian State Prison without ever seeing them therapeutically.
Just saying I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you.
Finding the faults in himself that were reflected in them.
Hmm.
So if this person is a murderer, what inside me would make me feel murder, make me choose murder, and I'm going to forgive myself for it. And that goes to the others and everybody around and helps heal them by healing
Hmm.
yourself. And that's it's kind of the basis.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the only cool thing I got is meditation, and that's not that much fun. Everyone knows how to pronounce that.
You know, it is a part of both of those. And, just meditating on those four sentences, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long. It's amazing what will come to you about yourself that's reflected in others.
Well, cool, man. What are you up to these days? Where you work again? Or yeah,
I'm still in the bar business. I'm the manager for two tasting lounges here in Taos, New Mexico, for a distillery called Rolling Still.
nice.
So I open
Oh,
those and
sorry.
do product develop, a little bit of product development and helping out the owners with, all the things that need to happen.
I will say that it is pretty incredible that I move away, I think 3 states over, and I still have Rolling Still red chili vodka pouring in my Bloody Marys. So we're
Far out.
still repping you down in Tulsa.
Fuck yeah.
Um, yeah. I just moved up here, so we'll have to see if we can get it up in Omaha too. But
It may take some time to get distribution up there. So,
yeah,
soon as we can, we will.
sure. So I'm guessing you probably work most weekends and the normal stuff.
I am fortunate that I don't work behind the bar anymore. This past Saturday was the first time in 3 years that I have been active behind the bar. It was our sixth anniversary party for the lounge, and needed an extra body, and I was happy to do it. It was fun to get behind the bar again and see if I could still, rock it with the young kids. you know, uh,
Heck
be,
yeah, man.
being 56 years old now. Uh,
No,
you know,
right before we jumped on this call, I was telling you we have someone new training the bar, and I got a few minutes to jump on the well just to help out. And like, oh yeah, I can still do this. Yeah, that's good. It's not all Excel, not anymore. No.
always feels good to get back there for a little bit, but so yeah, I'm usually I work daytime now, so I'm not out at night anymore. I am home with my family and taking care of them and our little yard and our little place out here in Taos.
Nice. Do you have any big projects or anything fun coming up?
Uh, well, it's coming up on rafting season, so that's always a big thing. Jody and I bought a pull behind camper trailer last year, and so we're looking forward to not only getting down to the river but to other rivers this year. Um, that's on personal projects. The business projects, we're moving into a new building here very soon, we hope, and being able to expand our distillery where we're going to be able to not only complete our bottling line, but also put in a canning line for ready to drink cocktails.
Oh, heck yeah.
That is the thing. That is it's already the future, if not getting into the past. But it's not going away.
It is TikTok's version of the bar,
That's right.
ready to drink. But
But I tell you what, there is nothing. Like I said, I don't drink spirits anymore, and it's occasional wine. But there are a couple of those RTDs out on the market that I don't mind, and will take one, down the river with me, just for fun, or for after when I get off the river. Uh, I drag it behind my boat in the cold water to keep it cold the whole time. So,
heck yeah.
but
Well, well, hey Chris, I remember how much you loved rafting when we worked together, so that's really exciting.
yeah,
And it's really good to hear that y'all are expanding production because we might be able to get some in Nebraska.
let's hope.
Well, hey, I'm actually gonna hang up soon, so I wanted to take a second and thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. It was really a pleasure.
The pleasure was mine, Andrew. It's great to hear from you and great to catch up with you. And I look forward to hearing more about what's happening with you next time.
Well, you know what they say. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry, and thank you.
I am
All right.
sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you.
All right. There you go. Thanks.
Hey, thank you for taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed this today, please leave a review. Even just one moment to like the podcast really helps other people discover our show. Hopefully people that need to hear this message find this. And thank you again, everyone who listens. You are my people. Keep rocking on. Have a great service. Please come check us back. We send out new episodes every Tuesday. Rock on. Cheers.